Hello, and welcome back to our podcast channel. Today's story is one of the dearest to my heart for all the emotional impact it carries. So buckle up, because we are traveling back to the beautiful era of the 18th and the 19th centuries. Before we dig into the legend, let us bring up some memories. We all know that during that era, slavery was a thing. Dark-skinned people were taken to be slaves to serve. Tunisia and some other North African countries were known to be markets for slavery. And in 1846, Tunisia was the first country in the Muslim world to abolish slavery for good by Ahmed al-Bey. However, of course, many events occurred during that period to later become stories that serve as a reminder for all generations. Music and dancing were ways for slaves to express their feelings, whether it was sadness, depression, joy, or glimpses of hope. We all have heard about the Al-Stambali music in Tunisia. It is a genre associated with the Tunisian black community. Its rhythms and dancing refer back to their ancestors. Stambali music is dated back to the 18th century, and it emerged to Tunisia through the sub-Saharan Africans who were taken as slaves for the trade markets. Stambali is conceived of as both a healing and expressive tool of the substandard and inferior life slaves were witnessing. This music relies on basic instruments: gambri, tabla, and Shaqshaq, which are copper plates that emit a sound similar to the sound of iron handcuffs, to remind us of the ringing of chains and shackles in the previous eras, when black-skinned people were shackled to them after being captured as slaves. The music is still present nowadays in the 21st century, and it is performed in the shrines of Sidi Lasmer. But who is Bou Saadia? The legend tells that the character of Bou Saadia, the black dancer in the Stambali music show, is originally an African king. One day, slave traders invaded his village and kidnapped his daughter, Saadi, from her tent. Bou Saadia got really sad for the loss of his daughter, so he decided to go to the trade markets in Tunisia and look for her himself. However, he had to disguise and cover his face not to be recognized. With a mask made of seashells, with a large bird head skull, and a belt around the waist made of dog's bones, foxes, and other shells at the ankles and wrists. Perhaps the seashells refer to the other side of the suffering of the black men who were kidnapped from their homeland to cross the seas towards the New World. As for the bones of foxes and dogs, they may refer to the arid deserts, the historical incubator of Africans. The character Bou Saadia is still revived nowadays in some carnivals, where usually a dark-skinned man practices the dance on the tunes of Stambali music and perform it to the audience. It cannot embody or succeed as folklore unless it is embodied by a person of black skin, to convey the whole story as it is, or until the image of that African king who came to Tunisia in search for his daughter is preserved. And also, because the dance was against slavery and injustice, and could not be embodied by a white-skinned person, as long as slavery was associated primarily with black-skinned people only. Stories as such are inked in a great number of the population's hearts and minds. Yet with time, they may cease to exist, and our role is to light a candle beside every sealed book with a chair and a cup of coffee, and the story is never lost. Now, my dears, I hope you enjoyed our story today. See you next time. Bye bye.